Morning, Miller. How are you?
Morning, morning. Doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks. Hey, I asked Coach Woodson this question earlier. I'm curious to get your take on it. Like on Saturday, you're on the floor 26 minutes before you got your first shot, 28 before you made one. I was asking him about it. I mean, are there sets or actions or screens away from the ball that can get you opportunities to get more open looks with shots? And he just basically said, "That's just part of the offense, and guys aren't leaving you." But what is there anything that you need to do more, or is part of the offense is more to get you better looks?
Um, I feel like I'm trying to do, everything I can. Because at the end of the day, the offense revolves around, Trace and Fino now at the ball screens and stuff too. So for me, there's nothing more I can do. I watch film, with the coaches all the time about, where I could, hopefully, get more shots or in terms of my spacing, in terms of, how I move without the ball and how I move off of other, guys driving and kicking and just giving guys good angles and, potential opportunities for me to, get open looks. But no, I mean, I really doing everything I can to try to get open looks and you know, be able to shoot the ball because, that's what I do best. And so, I'm always looking for opportunities to, get open looks because that's what I do best. So I'm just definitely trying to do that.
Wilson.
Miller, on a similar note to that, when you have a game like the other day, how do you stay in a rhythm? How do you kind of stay in things when you're not consistently taking shots?
Well, I mean, just focusing on, defense and being a great, team defender. You can get lost in the game, on the defensive end and it may not show up in the box score, but just being vocal, being a leader out there in terms of, what we're trying to do defensively and, talking the whole possession and, leading guys and making sure everybody's where they're at and where I'm supposed to be. So that's kind of how I stay kind of really into the game. But as far as my shot and like when I get a shot, 28 minutes into a game, I don't really think of it. If I see some daylight, it's going up. And so, I put the work in outside of, practice and stuff. And I feel like, if I get a shot at the end of the game or, right at the start of the game, I feel good about it. So.
Tyler.
Hey Miller, hope you're doing well. I know before the season you had talked about basically just knowing that this is your last season in college, like taking some of the pressure off yourself. I guess how do you feel like that is kind of manifested this season? Like, do you feel like you're playing more freely without as much pressure? How would you just kind of evaluate how that mindset change has helped you?
Yeah, no, I'm just playing free. I realize that, basketball, I've given so much of my life to this game, and sacrificed so much to get here, to get at Indiana and, earlier to make it to Northwestern and then make it here. And, I realize that, at the end of the day, it's just a game. And I love it and, work at it every single day. And, I'm always thinking about it, always trying to improve. And, but it is, it's something that you can't put all of your chips into in terms of mentally, emotionally, because there's ups and there's downs, and you can't control a lot of what happens in the game, but, you can control your mindset and how you think of things, when they happen, how you respond. And so for me, this season, I'm just playing free and playing my role. Like after the game, what was it? After the game against who we just play, Wisconsin. Um, I was walking down the bench. The horn went off, and one of the GAs said, way to play your role. And that was it. It kind of put into perspective again, like shoot my roles. Not to come off and shoot 20 times a game. My role is to help the team win, and so, I got a shot when we needed it. I made it, and that's my role. That's my job. So, it's about accepting what's in front of me and making the most of it.
Alex.
Miller, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. I'm curious if you can pinpoint The three previous games in Wisconsin, I think you guys gave up at least 83, 84 points every game. You kind of look at the points per possession, they were all pretty high compared to last season. And then against Wisconsin, you only give up 45. What was maybe missing in those three games that you did well against Wisconsin, and how can you kind of carry that forward to kind of make that more? Obviously, you're not going to hold every team to 45, but it feels like Coach Woodson wants you guys more playing lower scoring games and just trying to beat teams by holding them in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for us was our sense of urgency. We came into the game with obviously our backs against the wall, and we know we needed to, come out and defend, and that's our calling card, and that's what we, had success in last year. And so we just needed to come out with a sense of urgency defensively and set the tone there first, and then the rest of the game would fall into place where it should. So that was really the focus that we had, because game plan is game plan stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about the Jimmys and Joes, not the X's and O's. So
Todd?
Miller, can you illustrate what the adjustment period was like without Xavier and Race in the lineup? Did it take a couple games to get used to playing without them? What was that like internally?
Oh, well, we're still in that adjustment period. I'll tell you that much right now. Losing those two guys, and for me, as a shooter, as a guy who, relies on, the offense and the system, and the guys, point guard, to find me, I miss X, I miss Race too. So it's one of those things where, I felt that impact, pretty quickly just as a shooter. But it's something we're still going through. I mean, every day in practice, it's going to be we're going to hopefully inch closer and closer to, where we want to be in terms of playing without those guys. But it's just, it's not ideal, but you lose two guys like that play 30 minutes a game. There's going to be some bumps. I mean, that's just the reality. You look at any other team in the country who loses, two, main guys, it's tough, but it's really for us about figuring out how we can maximize what we have right now. And that's what we're doing.
Last question from Mike.
Yeah, Miller, you talked about playing with more intensity against Wisconsin. I'm curious if you've noticed a difference in the way Coach Woodson and the staff is going about practice with this team to kind of try to pull that out of you guys.
Well, I think it's we've all got it inside of us, because we've had some very competitive days of practice. But I think what they've done recently has kind of let us compete more in practice, even though we just went through a crazy stretch of games, and we're about to go into another one. Still we still practice hard. We still practice really hard, and go live, and it's all gas, no breaks, pretty much. But that's kind of one of the biggest differences I've seen. And yeah.
All right. Thanks, Miller.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Miller.